Welcome to the Spark Your Heart Talk Show, a social media-based show which focuses on your personal development. On this show, we do talk about personal growth defined in the 6 domains of arts, education, sports, relationships, adventure, and technology. I am your host, Ronnie Reyes, coming to you from fabulous Las Vegas. Today's guest beams into the Vegas Video Network studios by way of Skype, all the way from Orlando, Florida. We are going to discover her spark and her message regarding financial education and empowerment. Today's guest is a former Orlando Magic professional dancer. And yes, she did dance at Disney World in Orlando, of course. She is a mother to a beautiful daughter, age 9, a wonderful son, age 11. She is married to the love of her life, Roman, and she is the founder of Happily Ever Wealthy. It is my honor to introduce Krista. Say hello, Krista.
Hi, Ronnie.
Hey
so
there.
Glad to be here.
Wow, what's the weather like back home?
It is hot. It's hot for December.
I'm so jealous.
Yeah.
I'm so jealous.
That beautiful Florida sunshine.
So you heard a little bit of the intro there, and just at the risk of repeating myself, I wanted to add value for our guest and let you know and our guests at home know the format of the show. At Spark Your Heart, it's basically broken into 3 segments. The first segment is the big idea.
Mm-hmm.
The second segment is called the turning point. And the third section is called doing it. So,
all right, let's do it.
Let's do it. You're so good. So my first question, Krista, is about Happily Ever Wealthy. What was your big ideal about the formation of that company?
So the big idea behind Happily Ever Wealthy, as you mentioned, I live here in Orlando. I've danced on Cinderella's Castle, and I think it's kind of fun to think about what fairy tales are. But I get a kick out of the fact that the fairy tale ends as soon as the couple gets married, and then they just assume that they live happily ever after.
Yeah, it takes work, right?
It does. And in reality, that's just the beginning, and there's a lot more to it. So with that in mind, and with my financial background, I thought, how fun would it be to really talk to people who aren't that comfortable talking about money?
Mm-hmm.
It's the creatives like myself. I'm a creative. I have an entertainment background. And it's all of and entrepreneurs, business owners, people that don't necessarily love to talk about numbers and figures. You still need to know about money, how to make it work within your life, how to set goals, what to do and not to do. And so I thought this would be a really nice way, kind of a fun way to incorporate finances into that world. And so by titling it Happily Ever Wealthy, it's about your journey as well, and your life and the people in it and where you're going, and making sure that you have the financial means to do what you want to do.
Okay, so tell me the difference. We talked earlier on the phone about the difference between financial education and financial empowerment. What's the big difference there?
Well, financial education just sounds so boring.
Yeah, it does.
I'm not about boring. I think that finding your spark and what you want to do, that money should be fun and not intimidating. And so to encourage and empower people to gain confidence around the money issue and really tie it into what's important in your life, which is everything, right? Every opportunity, every time you want to say yes to something, there's almost always a dollar amount attached to it. So
that's the kind of world we live in, yes.
I know. It's true. And so just to grasp a hold of that and go, all right, I got to get good at this. It's not going to do me any good to have a mindset of, oh, I'm not good with money. I'm not good with the math. I've blown it before. It's going to be a struggle your whole life.
Yeah.
So I'm here to help people gain that confidence.
And that's my next question. Money is very emotional. And here on our show, we talk about heart. We talk about emotion. How do you, especially out here again in Las Vegas, there are many, many casinos. Everybody gambles. It's very emotional. Talk to me about the emotional part of money.
Well, that's really where I start, is helping people discover what their money mindset is. And it's looking back. It's not so much what we think about money on the surface, but deep down, what we were taught as a child, what we were exposed to as a child, experiences that we have had. And those are the things that really make a lasting impression. And it's the subconscious, the self-talk that we're talking to ourselves that can really get in the way of achieving our dreams. And so I always start with mindset first
Got
and
it.
how
Got it.
to change those the talk that you have internally.
I love it. I love it. And then kind of going back, I just want to clarify, do you work exclusively with couples, or you also work with individual young men, young women starting out, or?
Yes, I do private coaching,
Okay.
one-on-one, some small groups. And with Happily Ever Wealthy, that is a online video series that this particular one is geared towards smart couples.
Oh, okay. Got
Throughout
it.
the rest of 2016, my partner Jada and I, who do Happily Ever Wealthy, will also create another package. I believe our next one we have planned is for smart parents.
Smart parents.
Yeah.
Wonderful. So you got like this whole little empire building that you're
Yes.
working on. So talk to me about Jada. If you had to introduce your business partner in, I don't know, 3 or 4 sentences, tell me a little bit about Jada and her background.
So Dr. Jada Jackson is a mental health counselor. She is beautiful and powerful and successful and super down to earth. And the reason that Jada and I connected on this project is because I saw from being a financial planner that there's so much more. It's the mind. There's so much happening behind the psychology of why we spend and how we relate to not only ourselves, but to the other people in our lives around money. So teaming up with Jada and bringing her on board, she gives the she's a marriage counselor, mental health counselor. She brings the psychology behind the money. And then I talk about the skill set behind money. And we've just weaved these ideas together. And it's created a really powerful course that couples can take together on their own time and really dive deep into the right conversations and help them with communication, understanding themselves, and of course, understanding one another.
I love it. Now, do I have to call her Dr. Jada, or can I just call her
She
Jada?
doesn't insist on that, but I'm really proud of her for that. She's
Oh,
actually
that's, yeah.
recently accomplished her doctoral.
I have yet to meet her personally. We've chatted a little bit on Facebook and online. She's awesome, just in the little exchanges that we've had. Going back to your program that you just recorded this weekend, so it'll feature you and Jada, correct? Or Dr.
Yes,
Jada.
it's side by side, which makes it's kind of fun. It's a little bit of a talk show feel because we've got the two of
Great.
us talking to each other as we're talking to our audience, to the client. So it adds a different dynamic instead of just that financial education that could be so boring.
Yeah,
We
and
took the brain out and made it very real life
good.
and more personal.
Now tell me that your video product it's not just a bunch of PowerPoint slides, right? I've been involved with some of those, and like you said, they're boring. I'd rather look at you and Dr. Jada and then talk about the numbers. Yes, okay.
And it's a fun dynamic of being serious and then throwing in some laughter. I can't help but be a little funny sometimes. So we really want to keep people involved and engaged and keep it real.
Yeah,
Honestly,
exactly.
incorporated sex is even one of our topics. It's communication, sex, and money because they're all
Love that.
intertwined. You're talking about a couple and their longevity and their happiness of staying together.
I love it. So moving on again, back to the big idea, and the second part of that question is why now? Why at this time of year? Why now would a couple? I recognize that. I do recognize that some of my friends at this time of year they're spending. Why now? Why focus on money?
Well, I think now really relates to this period in history or in our life. As I'm a part of Generation X, and then you've got the millennials that are just below us. The problem is we don't have a good example of what to do with our money.
Yeah.
We're in a new economy. It's a new time. We can't model what our parents have done. We can't model what our grandparents have done. And we really need to be to learn and get on point with what to do financially, how to create financial freedom in a retirement. And also how to get along with each other.
Exactly.
We've got several big issues, one being that we're overspending. We've got 6-figure income earners, 44% are living paycheck to paycheck.
Oh, gosh. I'm going to cut you off real quick. We're going to go to a little break. But stay on that. I want you to stay on the part that we're overspending. That's the first part of our show here at Spark Your Heart, the big idea with Krista, talking with her about money, empowerment, financial empowerment. Tune in for our next part known as The Turning Point.